Good morning, everyone. My name is Guy Metric. I am the industry lead for financial services here at Appian. And I'm delighted to be on stand today with Gabriel Campa of Towerbank International. And he's going to tell a remarkable story of a transformation of a 50-year-old, very conservative bank and how it has reimagined itself for the modern digital age. I'm delighted that you're going to be telling the story. And Gabriel, over to you.
All right, thank you, Guy. Well, good morning to all. As it says there, banking reimagined. When I first talked to people when a 54-year-old bank, single family owned, third generation of the president of the bank, and we talk about crypto, people are like, what the heck are you talking about? Banks normally don't talk about crypto, right? They're normally against it. More than 3 years ago, the bank was working on its new business, reimagining the bank for the next 10 years, right? And we were like, all banks already do the same thing. They all give loans, they're all fighting for interest, and it's more of the same, right? And crypto is right next to the corner. And we thought, all right, crypto's an interesting technology, maybe we can do something with it. We started doing analysis on our clients, and we noticed that they were using their credit cards to buy crypto, all right? So that's a risk for us. Why? Because they're buying crypto, they're doing stuff with their crypto, and we don't know what they're doing with it. So we don't have really source of funds, and that's a problem for banks. So we started talking to these clients, and we already knew we needed a new business model that would 10x our market, not in Panama, but in all LATAM. We knew that we had to transform the bank to a digital bank. There was no doubt about it. We had to do data analytics, but mainly we had to transform our thinking. So for the first 6 months, president of the bank, CEO of the bank, and myself started interviewing. I think we did like 50 interviews, different clients, trying to understand what they were doing with crypto, what they needed from us. At first, the conversation was a bit like, why are you asking me about crypto? Because in some countries, for example, in Panama, it's normal for a bank to close your account if you tell them that you work with crypto. So they're very careful what they tell you. But when we told them that we wanted to learn from them because we were planning to build something, they're like, we just started talking for minutes and minutes and minutes and minutes with each client. And you don't imagine how much we learned. So we noticed there's an amazing opportunity. We won't be the only ones, but we really have to change how we do things. So for us, it's not a leap to the moon. It is us working hard to secure a spot in the launchpad. So we have to build everything. And later on, I'll show you what we've been able to build in 2 years with a very small team and 2 great partners. But not only that, we're also training our people to really understand this new world, how they're going to better serve our clients, and how they're going to do things different. Because one thing that's going to change in the bank is today our team normally is one-on-one with a client for a very long time. But we're moving into a digital onboarding. So their role is not going to be replaced. Their role is going to change. They're going to start giving our clients a different service. They're going to go out and sell. They're going to help our clients when they have a problem. But they're not going to be sitting down with a client for 3 hours, opening an account, and doing basic stuff. Our clients are going to be auto-serve themselves. So what is our strategic objective? Create and lead the crypto-friendly banking in LATAM. A bridge between crypto and the fiat ecosystem. Bridge being the key word. Bank has one rule. Well, several rules, but we don't buy, we don't sell, and we don't custody crypto. Bank doesn't intervene in crypto. We're just the face of it. Behind, we have a trust. That trust is the one that takes care of doing the conversion, custodying. So worst case scenario, something happens to the bank and you have your crypto with us. You can go to the trust and get it back. No problem. But also, banks can't have crypto in the books. It's too volatile. Imagine, I think Bitcoin right now is like in $63,000. A few months ago, it was 70-something thousand. And let's say the halving is on Friday, right? It jumps to 120 over the weekend, which is very possible. There's no bank in the world that can raise enough capital to cover that position. It's impossible. So you can't have it in the books. So we had to build a scalable and flexible future. And we divided it in three sections: front, middle, and back. And the front has two worlds: the crypto world and the traditional finance world. And we kept this separate because our traditional finance clients have special needs and our crypto clients have totally different needs. And we want to give them a different experience. Normally, crypto clients are more fintech users. They don't normally use a bank. Banks are way, way too complicated for them. So we had to create a new system, a new ambiance for them. The middleware is where everything we've used to connect to Appian, right? We have three cores, actually, 4 cores. We have our old Gobi's core, which is Stone Age, literally Stone Age. We have our new core, which is Mambu, one of the best cores in the world. We have Frame Banking, which is our payment gateway, and we have Appian. Yes, Appian is our crypto banking core. Everything is built in Appian. We could have bought it. There's many companies that offer what we built in Appian, but I have a big problem. I cannot depend on one company, okay? Because if these companies disappear, I'm in trouble. But if I build it myself, I can do whatever I want with it. I can connect to whatever I want and have true scale and a flexible future. Now, before we get more in deep into this, and I think we've been hearing a lot about in Appian world, is data analytics and how Appian could work with us with data analytics. So we have Ikigi, which is our digital platform for the crypto-friendly bank. We have all our data sources, and Appian is the one that collects all that data and sends it to our data lake where we're storing everything. Given that Appian is doing that, she already has all the information that we're going to need in the future to do deep analytics on our clients of what they're doing every day and how we can better serve them. We're definitely thinking how we can scale this into the future and make it as big as possible and as successful as possible. Now, what's Ikigi? Ikigi is our digital platform, the best of two worlds within a regulated environment. Regulated being the key word here. It has to be regulated. We hear about crypto all the time, that they're against regulation, that shouldn't be regulated. I've spoken to many, many people in the crypto space. They all believe it has to be regulated because if it's not regulated, banks can't get involved and users are being affected worldwide. For example, FTX. I think all of you have heard about FTX. So Ikigi is the only crypto wallet, I think I can still say this, the only crypto wallet that is also a dollar bank account. There's nothing like it. And next time I'll show you a short video how it works, but it's the only wallet where you can do both things in one place. It's going to allow payments, on and off ramp, conversion, send and receive, P2P, custody, and in the traditional finance space, loan and overdraft, BTC backed, ACH, savings, you'll have a debit card, international wires, payments, and CDs. So I'm going to show you a short demo of what is Ikigi, and then I'll talk more about it. So you see in the top, you see mi banca and mi criptos. That's my banking and my crypto. It's all in one place. You want to do a wire transfer? You can do it from there. You want to buy or sell crypto? You want to send or receive crypto? You can also do it from there. So let's say A family member wants to send you some money, right? And your family member doesn't work with crypto. So you'll do an ACH or you'll do a wire. You'll convert your crypto to dollars, you just send a wire transfer. Or you want to send crypto to somebody, but you have dollars. You can buy the crypto and send it to the person through crypto. But one key thing that we're doing is that we're protecting our clients. We have chain analysis, and chain analysis verifies every single transaction. So we make sure that wherever we're sending the crypto is a safe place and is not related to any illicit activity in the world at the moment. So I'm not going to get into deep into this because my tech team really understands this way more than what I do. But we have two sections. We got Appian in the bottom, AWS on top, right? We started building everything in AWS for the traditional banking space, our cloud. But more than 2 years ago, when I had my vision of what I wanted to build, how I wanted to build it, and how I wanted it to work, I needed a more robust solution. But not only a more robust solution, somebody that understood what I wanted to build and how I wanted to build it. So that's how we got to Appian. And I'll get more into that. But Appian is connected to chain analysis, BitGo, Bitstamp, and other liquidity providers. MetaMap for KYC. Ultratech, which is our face validation for Panama. And it's also connected to Mambu. It's connected to Frame Banking. It's connected to our older core, which is not API friendly. So it's able to connect to that as well. And to other data sources. Now, why I selected Appian to be this orchestrator, this core for us? One reason, security. 2, scalability. Orchestration, flexibility. Comprehensive ecosystem support our needs. API native. I think this is very, very important for not technical people, which is facilitates collaboration with not technical team members. It is very easy for my IT team to explain to me what has been built and how it works. But not only that, it allows us to show it to our CEO and to the president of the bank. So they really understand what we built and how it works. It also helps us to understand where the problem is. So we can look at the workflows like, this doesn't make sense. We might want to change this and this or that. And I think one of the main subjects this week is AI.
Yeah.
It's AI ready. And we're already there. Now, what have we done with architecture, with Appian architecture, and what it does today for us? The key things here is onboarding. It runs our entire onboarding process. And I think it's one of the only, actually, I could also say this because it's the only onboarding process that opens a bank account and a crypto account at the same time, all in one shot. All with the basic information that you need for a bank account and a little bit more information that we ask for about your crypto portfolio. It does crypto transfers. It executes ACH and SWIFT transactions. It does client onboarding, debit card processing, due diligence, compliance. We have a basic version of this compliance system, but now we're in the works of building a complete and robust compliance system, all built in Appian. Why are we going to build in Appian? Well, it's demonstrating it can do what it can do and very, very well. But it already has all the data. It's already connected to all the systems. And given that it's already connected, we just have to pull those blocks and add it to the new workflow for it to do our compliance. And if we break something, it's easy to move it out and continue working, right? So integrations that we have. I think we have over 96% automation. And just for you to understand what's 96% automation, when we first started, a bank official will attend to a client for 4 or 5 hours per client. An hour and a half to open the account, and then 3 or 4 hours in the background doing all the paperwork and everything. When we first launched our back end for the onboarding with Appian, it came down to an hour, or an hour and a half. And it was like 25 minutes for the client, 45 minutes, an hour in the background doing paperwork. We brought it down massive. Now it takes maybe 10 minutes with the client, 15 minutes with the client, and they leave with a deposit address, a bank account, their debit card already generated. And our team maybe dedicates an hour, 30 minutes to that client afterwards, making sure that all the paperwork is fine. Once we launch our fully automated onboarding, which is already built, we're just testing it, they're not going to dedicate not even a second to a client. They'll only need to dedicate time to the client when the client needs something. We've been able to onboard, well, here it says 400, but I'm pretty sure we're already at 600 or 700 clients that we onboarded with this system. And it's been almost perfect. I can't say perfect, we have issues, but it's been almost perfect. And it's amazing. I have a story. When we first launched the fully automated onboarding that was run by our team, they were doing onboarding by a client, and in less than 10 minutes, the client received an email with a deposit address. He was so happy to receive a deposit address that he went into his crypto wallet and sent $2,500 for it to be converted to US dollars. We didn't have the process and operations because we had a procedure where the client has to sign a document saying that the trust is the one responsible for everything, right? That document wasn't signed, operation wasn't informed, and they received $2,500. Like, what do we do with the $2,500? We don't have any documents. We're like, just give the client his money. He's gonna sign it. But the client was so happy that he did it right away. And that shocked everybody in the bank. Now, we're gonna have a couple of questions. Before we get into that, it's very difficult to find a tool that does everything. And we've been talking a lot about the tool, but now we're going to talk more about the people. So some of the questions are going to be about that, and I hope the rest of you have questions for us.
So I've got a few questions, certainly, and then we'll throw it open to the audience, and please ask away with what has been, I think, a fascinating journey that you've been through over the last 2 years. Some of the things that I'm interested in is the combination of sort of culture and technology. How has the technology you've deployed helped with the shape and the materialization of the vision that you've had?
Well,
I think you've got a slide, haven't you, as well?
Yeah, it wasn't easy, right? It wasn't easy to build because it doesn't exist, okay? But the most complicated part is to change the mindset of the bank, right? So you can see here the old mindset, which is, what we offer is all you need, take it or leave it. We pretend to know even what we can't know. That's for compliance. Stick to what we know and it's safe. If it works, don't fix it. Making it complicated, it's okay. We believe it helps us. Centralization gives us control. Growth through the bank mergers and acquisitions. I think that never goes well. And the new mindset is, if it doesn't impact the life of people for the better, it's not worth it. Live the future, visualize possible futures, bring them to the present and start building. Unlearn to learn, future thinking, design thinking, agility. It's all in the team, stupid. That comes from the famous phrase in the Clinton times when they were talking about the economy, right? And team being the key word. This wouldn't be possible if there weren't be a great team. I wouldn't be speaking to you today here if I didn't have a great team behind me building this every day. And not only the team at the bank, but our partners, Appian, and all the partners involved, because there's a lot of technologies out there. Most of them are similar, but the culture in our partners and at Appian, it's been amazing. I think all of you have lived it this week at Appian World. Think big, start small, fail fast. We've made a ton of mistakes, but they're easy to identify and they're easy to fix when you have a great team. Anticipate what will be important to the customer. And this is constantly talking to customers and trying to understand what they need from us, how we can better help them. For example, we have a lot of scams in LATAM, given that it's very, very hard to access crypto, okay? And given that banks are very closed and they close your account, normally For example, people go to banks and they say, no, I sold a pair of sneakers, or I sold a diamond ring, or I sold a sack of cement. Literally, those are the things that they tell their bank. And when they come to us, no, I sold crypto through Binance on P2P or on the street, or we met somewhere. And then constantly every week, we get calls from other banks like, hey, our client just informed us that he didn't approve that transaction. And we're like, all right, we'll investigate. We talk to our client. No, yeah, I did. I sent crypto through P2P. And here's the evidence I did the transaction. And what the other client is trying to do is scam the client, right? Since you sent the crypto, you can't get it back. He's trying to get the money back. And that happens a lot. But since our clients trust us and they're willing to tell us that they're doing crypto, they tell us and we show them, we're like, sorry, I'm not going to return the funds. It's a legit transaction. Dematerialize, democratize, and grow through partnerships and fintech startups. It's all about partnerships. I don't see Appian or our partners as software as a service, or I see it as partnerships. I mean, the team at Appian, from C-level all the way down, are very, very accessible. Whenever we need to talk and explain to what we're doing and what we want to do, they're very, very accessible. Okay?
Okay. So clearly, one of the drivers was new revenue generation. Can you talk a little bit about how the technology has enabled that?
Well, normally when you invest in a new project, the first couple of years are a loss. That wasn't the case for us. Given that we've done this little by little, it's not a regulated world yet, but the bank is regulated, so we know how to do this. We started slow, we started talking to people, but the impact was so large that people just started sending money and working with us. And I think last year we did around $30 million in transactions. And with all the commissions and the amount of deposit that were kept in the bank, we were positive last year. And this year we're looking at a 2 or 3x. And we're looking at a 2x without a gigi. Once we launch a gigi, that might be different. But we're seeing the results right away. And our board of directors are very, very happy. They took a big bet on us. But once they started seeing the money come in and the clients come in, I mean, we've grown over. We have like 2,000 more clients. We have at least 400 or 500 clients doing transactions with us every year. It's been amazing.
You raise a really good point there. And I think one of your opening slides was concerns about the current banking model being made redundant. How were you able to persuade the board that this change was necessary? And what was the thinking behind that approach?
Yeah. Well, fortunately, the bank is single-family owned. The board is very, very close to the family. So we're a very close family in the bank. Everybody from collaborators all the way to the owners. And we got them involved from day one. But not only the board, we got our corresponding banks on board from day one. We told them what we wanted to do, how we wanted to do it. And they're like, yeah, go for it. Talk to these people. They'll help you out. Talk to these people. They'll tell you what they're doing. Because corresponding banks have been working on this for a while, right? In the background. Because they understand that this has to happen. So, and another thing is, we've been in business for 54 years, single family owned. We've never had any scandals of money laundering. We've never had any scandals of corruption. Like, we're a very, very conservative bank. Well, I can't say that conservative anymore because we're working with crypto, but we're very, very conservative. Cherry pick clients, we don't work with anybody. For example, we don't take hotel risk. We finance houses in hotel projects, for example, first in, first out. We're very, very careful how we do business. And given that we've done that all our life, there's a lot of trust behind us, right? Yeah. They know that we're going to try to do things right as much as we can. And if we detect something, we'll report it. There's a lot of transparency.
Okay, good. One of the most important things, we've touched upon revenue generation, which you've been able to alliterate on. What are the other key metrics for success that you had for this project?
Well, if you look for Towerbank online on social media, maybe 2.5 years ago, you wouldn't see much. And now you see people talking about us, what we're doing, celebrating what we're doing, asking when Gigi is going to be launched. Unfortunately, I made a big mistake last year. And I told everybody that I was going to launch it 2 months ago. But better should I have known that that was not going to happen. So people are constantly asking where we're going to launch it. And also, sometimes actors attack us on social media. And you know what? We don't have to do anything. The community itself attacks back. So we just watch the fireworks and let them attack each other. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, once you see the support from the community, I've talked to very interesting people, people that would never open a bank account in a bank. Never, ever. They don't want to know, they don't want to know about anybody. And they're like, you know what? Once you launch this software and everything, I'll open an account with you. I really respect what you're doing for the community.
Fantastic. That was the last question I had. I'd like to open it up to the audience to see if there are any questions that.
In the very beginning, you said that decided to go for Appian because vendor but now you're depending on Appian.
Well, that's true. I am depending on Appian. But first of all, Appian is a very, very solid company, right? Given the clients that it has. But as I said before, it's not the only low-code solution. So if something were to happen, it is not that difficult to move to another low-code solution, right? So that's where I keep the control. But why we picked Appian, the clients that it has, the history that it has, the people behind it, right?
I was asking because I get this kind of question very often that people are comparing it to some stable systems like Java. Totally.
Yeah, I talked to many companies before I selected Appian, right? And it gave me a good gut feeling, right? It felt right. Because I was talking to other companies, like, they didn't really understand what I wanted to do, but they didn't give me the confidence that they can really build it.
You talked a lot about expert process, really decreasing that time. You're also is heavily regulated digital assets, which very much, the regulation is a little bit more lax. How do you go about reducing the bottleneck onboarding process, verification process with clients, or is it
We ask what banks normally ask, right? But at the end of the day, we have focused on asking what we really need to know, all right? And really understanding regulation, because many times banks read regulation and the regulator understands it one way, but when you really get into the law, it's way simpler what they're trying to make it, right? We're not trying to overthink it here. And in the case of fiat, normally you're going to show your pay stub or you're going to show your investments. That's pretty easy too. But in the case of crypto, let's say you invested in crypto. I'm going to give you a very drastic example. During the pandemic, this kid invested $3,000 in a token called Shiba Inu. All right? That's where the Shiba dog became famous. He invested $3,000. 6 months later, his portfolio was worth $55 million. All right? He was able to get out of it like 25. In blockchain, I can show that he bought it when it was worth $3,000. Anybody can justify $3,000. But no, it's very, very hard in fiat or investments to demonstrate 25 million. But in the blockchain, it's very, very easy. So we're understanding it. And at the end of the day, what we're doing, it has to make sense. Right? And the onboarding is just asking for key questions and that's going to support, I don't know, maybe 95, 98% of clients. And maybe there'll be a 2% that will have to dig in a bit more, but that's a very, very small percentage compared to because you can't grow 98% in personnel, right? I think Automation Anywhere that was talking a few years ago about that almost 70% of operations are going to have to be automated because it's impossible to grow that amount. we're connected to liquidity providers in the back, and they're all regulated in the US or Europe. We're only using regulated. We're not using retail exchanges. Yeah, we'll never be an exchange. The most we're going to be is a broker. As I said before, we don't believe that we should buy, sell, or custody crypto in the bank.
Any more questions?
I'm curious that we're going to deploy abroad like 2 months ago. And so if you're still not there, I'm curious, when do you think you'll put this out there? And what have you learned from maybe overpromising a little bit?
My plan is June, because it's almost ready. All right, we're starting to fix some bugs. We've been detecting some things that we're still fixing. I want to make sure that when we launch this, it really works. All right, and also we need approval from the regulator. It doesn't exist, so it might take them a while to approve it. But what we're doing right now is we're testing it with certain customers and internally to make sure that it works. And little by little, we'll start scaling it. But the idea is, the plan is June to launch it. What region? What version? Good question. What version are we using? Appian Cloud, right? Oh.
The latest version.
Yeah, the latest version. Which I think it was updated yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Last night.
Yeah.
I think last night you had a quick update. Yeah.
23.4.
All right, there you go, 23.4.
Fantastic.
Any more questions? Yeah?
Yeah, you mentioned using Appian to like ingest data, and then you use Appian to move that to like a data lake. Can you explain a little more like why you do that and like what mechanism in Appian you use to like kind of move it to the data lake?
Andres, do you want to answer this? Because I'm not that technical, but that's my head of IT. That's my lead designer. I'll give you the reason why, all right? And then I'll let him explain the technical part. But the reason why we did it that way is we already had our own data lake in AWS. So we were already storing everything there, okay? And at the end of the day, it's all going to be data for the bank. And the crypto-friendly bank, we built it technically outside of the bank. Why? Tomorrow I might have to do a spinoff. So it'll be easy for me to take it out. But at the end of the day, we designed it in a way that can connect to anybody. So the idea tomorrow is sell to another bank and have them do what we do, because we don't believe we should be the only ones. Okay? So by building it that way, it allows us to connect to any core. It allows us to connect to any exchange. It allows us to connect to any bank. So that's why we've built it separate, and Appian works as a core, and it orchestrates everything for the operation. It makes all the decisions.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
How long did it take you to put the first processes into production?
It was fast. A couple of months. It was very, very fast. 4 months, 5 months. It was very, very fast. We started seeing results right away.
Any more questions for Gabrielle?
So I'm not exactly well versed on data privacy regulations in Latin America.
Yeah.
But for your customer information that you're storing in Appian, how do you basically make sure that you're regulated?
Well, Appian is not storing the data.
Oh, they're not. Okay.
They're just receiving the data and sending it to the data lake in AWS,
Okay, so
which complies with regulation.
Okay, so it's not persisting the data like within the data table.
It's sending the data to the data lake. It's consuming the data, all encrypted. It sends it and this disappears. But it knows where it is, so the day it needs to consume it to do anything, it'll know where to find it.
Got it.
You mentioned that mindset is the biggest hurdle, right? And connected to that, of course, is competing for funds. So what I want to understand is, of course, this sets the precedence for what is to follow. So where does this conversation go next? How do you think about the budgeting decisions, especially where you have to maintain the bank and then you have to run something which is innovative? Does this have a separate P&L of its own? And most importantly, where do you go next from here?
Well, I think that opens the section to the next slides. So first of all, let's talk about the mindset, right? And these are the activities we do with our team. On the left, we did an activity with the entire bank. We did with the Oculus. We did some art with Bitcoin. We invited a very well-known NFT artist in Panama. I think she sold one of her arts for $2 million not too long ago. And she's a new banking client, right? So she talked about her experience, how she did it, and how it changed her life. So we're getting people involved to understand what we're doing and how we're building it and why it's good. And the P&L, it's all in the bank. So at the end of the day, what we do has to be profitable. So we have to be we're building it slowly, carefully. We're launching it, we're testing it, and we have to make money out of it. So fortunately, LATAM is less competitive, so it allows us to have a better margin. And from day one, we've been profitable. And the reason why we've been profitable is because we started with the back. We started building the back. We launched the back, semi-automatic, and that started generating revenue. Then we did the front, but we already paid for the back, and now we're paying with the back. We're paying for the front. All right, so it's been step by step, building a little by little, growing a little by little. And the advantage with Appian is that you can go step by step, and you can start adding things to it little by little, right, without modifying what you did. Well, we have a couple minutes left, so I'm going to close this. So what are we going to do for 2025? Okay. One of them is blockchain technology, generative AI, 100%, asset tokenization, payments, e-commerce with crypto. When I talked about asset tokenizations, one idea that I have that I would like to do next year is the bank has assets. They give loans for high-value properties, personal loans. That's something we can tokenize. All right, we tokenize it and we sell, let's say, 40, 50% of it to our clients. They gain part of the interest that we make, and it's a way for us to raise capital without, raise cheap capital, right? That's one thing we can do. Generative AI. First of all, we have two uses for generative AI. We have the digital onboarding. It was asked before, is how do we make sure that we fix those roadblocks and make it as easy as possible. With generative AI, we're going to allow our clients to upload any document. AI will be able to read the document and really understand it. And that'll reduce the errors. I think the error reduction on the first phase of generative AI is like 75%, and you could bring it up to 95, 98% once it learns. That's going to solve a big problem that we have today. Payments. You're going to be able to pay two ways. You're going to be able to go with your debit card. That's the first phase. But the second phase is you're going to be able to go to a store and pay with your crypto, right? The idea is to launch a payment gateway where you're going to go with Ikigi and just pay with your crypto. And at the end of the day, stores, they don't want to see crypto. They want to see dollars. So at the end of the day, we'll onboard that business. They'll have a bank account in the bank. You pay with your crypto, and the store will receive dollars right away. All right. Well, they'll receive dollars like in 52 seconds because that's how long it takes us to do the switch. And then e-commerce. We're gonna be launching a solution for a company of the group. That's gonna be our first use case of it, where we're gonna connect Ikigi to an e-commerce platform directly, and you'll be able to pay with crypto online right away. Those are the projects that we have for 2025. Well, it depends. If business grows more than what we expect, I might have to throw more ideas into it because we're gonna have to speed this up a lot. My tech team is not gonna be very happy about that, but well, it's part of the business. So I wanna thank Appian. I wanna thank you, Guy. I mean, it's been an amazing experience, and be able to tell you our story of what we're doing. It hasn't been easy, but the team behind it has made it very, very easy for us.
I want to thank you, Gabriel. I think it's a great story, and I think everyone here has enjoyed learning more about it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.